3, 2, 1, action. Hey guys, welcome back to Off the Record where we do... What?
Where we do whatever we want.
You've never messed that up ever.
Never! Wow. First time, but anyway, we have Mike here.
What's up, Mike?
Not to be mistaken with Dom.
The bro
He's
science.
not here right now. This is Mike.
He's checked out.
Yeah.
Until the next article.
That shit was so fascinating. It's the first time I've ever seen that character.
It's the first time we've ever had a character on JK News.
That shit is so fucking hard. How the fuck do you do that shit all the way through?
I've been doing it for 10 years. So I think I've been Dom longer than I've been myself. You know, you're constantly finding yourself, you're like, who am I? But it's like, this character is very distinct. And it's just like, it's why it's, at first, maybe like a couple years ago, you know, it started out as improv stuff. So when I first did it, it was like this. We'd set up, me and my writing partner at the time, we would set up a camera and he would interview me about topical shit. And I would just sit there and be in character, put on the accent, and talk about it. And then I would chop it up into like a short 3-minute bit. And that's where like these jump cuts came from. So it started as improv, but it was, you know, I was good at it, but it wasn't something I did a lot. So there's always this anxiety of starting it out being like, am I gonna be funny today? And sometimes I just wouldn't have anything to talk about, and we'd shoot and be like, this isn't working, have to can it, and then start again. When I started Bro Science about 3 years later, everything was scripted. So I wrote out an entire script, and then would add improv as we shoot. So I was just more comfortable being like, I know it's funny going in, so I'm not wasting my time.
Pressure is gone,
But I also know I'm good at improv. And then as the years went on, I was like, okay, the writing is becoming harder and harder because I've done so many videos and I try so hard to keep the content fresh. And I just started doing more improv with Bradley Martin doing Bro's Verse. And that was all just like, come up with a concept, jump into it, and just be in character and do like a sort of fake reality show style thing. And then I realized that I was just good at doing it. When I didn't think about it, I could just be in character. And then when I edit it myself, I'm like, that was way funnier than I thought. You're kind of like in your head thinking, is this gonna be funny? But once you just kind of let it go, I look at it, I'm like, this actually turned out really funny. Moments I didn't even know happened. And it sort of feels like, you know, you kind of black out and switch a light on and you're like in character.
Improv's the best.
Yeah, so now I'm at the point where like, I almost prefer it because I don't have to write anything. I don't have to come prepared and I can just kind of enjoy it. And I've been doing it long enough that it's literally just a light switch.
That's
fucking
tight.
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, we got our start in YouTube, me and Bart, on by characters first and foremost. And then when we were acting ourselves, like on JK News, that was fucking weird. Or anytime I had to be myself.
Yeah,
That was a trip. I was so used to being a character on camera. So when I had to speak like my own thoughts and all that stuff, I felt so awkward.
You have this like protective barrier when you're a character.
Yeah, when you're a character, it's like a big coat.
Yeah, and you can, first and foremost with like an accent or an over-the-top character, people just know it's humor, so they're not wondering if you're joking or if you're being serious, you believe something.
You get away with a lot.
Yeah, but also you're defending yourself from being like, putting your actual self out there. So if someone makes fun of you, judges you based on what you say or what you think, it's like, it's just a character, right? But then once you put yourself in front of the camera, you're like, okay, that's really me. And you know, the internet is not the most forgiving place to do that, so.
And I just think an exaggerated character is just a lot funnier than a normal person.
It's always gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just way funnier.
Do you get a lot of shit? Because I know like in the fitness community, everyone is like a fucking pro. Like everyone knows everything. So when you come in and like you're making these jokes, do people want to fucking kick your ass?
I surprisingly get no hate, really.
Really?
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Like I think because they would not survive it. They like if someone wants to come after Dom, they're gonna get shredded. Like
you do realize it's like my character is a dumbass.
I am a king of roasting. Yeah. I roast myself. I roast everybody. My channel is roasting what you guys do. So no one wants that. All right, but also like I make it a point not to involve myself in an actual personal beef. Like if someone tried to do that, I honestly wouldn't engage it. I'd be like, this is not worth my time and whatever happens. But most people just want to laugh at themselves in fitness. I think it's really surprising to see that like the most surprising reaction from certain fans is that you inspired me to lose weight or go to the gym. I'm like, how? I'm like, fucking how?
That's awesome.
I've seriously had people be like, I lost 100 pounds because of you. I'm like,
did they use your actual bro science text?
See, that's the thing. I'm like, how? It's not an actual fitness channel.
Yeah.
And they said because you made the gym more approachable. Because of your humor, it was like,
I thought they were taking your advice like word for
I don't
word.
have any advice, man. I got no.
I haven't worked out ever.
There's no real fitness advice
No,
in the
I mean,
channel.
they took your fake fitness advice and then they
Yeah, but even that, there's not like real workout advice. You know, it's more about like the culture or the society of gym culture, whatever. So in seeing that, I'm realizing, because when I think about how to make a video, I first and foremost think about myself. Like, why do I do the things I do when I go to the gym? Like, what's the psychology behind somebody acting a certain way? And usually you got to think, okay, why do I do this? And it's like, then you can expand that to other things you see in other people. And really, it's once you address that and clear the air, people feel more confident in knowing that everyone else does these things.
Yeah.
And laugh at yourself. You can go to the gym now and not feel like you're being judged because this person before was in that same position or does these same things. And I didn't realize that until I actually got people saying that I inspired them to work out. I'm like, shit, man, like I drink every weekend and I just restart my workouts every other week. I'm not a fitness personality, you know, like I don't, but yeah, I guess it worked.
That's dope.
Did you ever do any prank calls as your character?
That's how it started, actually.
Prank calls?
No, yeah.
That's like the hardest thing to do in the world.
This is how the character started. So me and my buddy were we worked at a pool company maybe in 2008. He was one of the managers and I just worked with him because, you know, nepotism. So he's another friend of ours was also working. He got a new work phone and we used to do the accent and we would talk to each other, the dumb Mazzetti accent, you know, we're from New Jersey and that was sort of like more joking around type of thing. He calls her on the phone, she doesn't know this number, and she's like, hello, and he's like, hello? He's like, hi, who's this? And he's just like, Dom who? Mazzetti, just like that. And then Dom Mazzetti was born. Pranking our friend. But then I was also, you know, using the name and the accent. It initially was, I wrote a script for it in college. I went to film school, and in a sketch writing class, I was doing a script where Dom Mazzetti was a middle-aged OG Italian with a shitty cooking show. That was like the first iteration of actual Dom Mazzetti beyond me and my friend just fucking around. That only was a script, and then when we started shooting YouTube videos, it was around the Four Loko era. That's the video that got popular, and I was like, instead of just being this like middle-aged guy, like just be this character who inserts himself to all these situations, still an expert, but just talks about mainly college topical things. So I was talking about my night in Four Loko, where I did all this crazy shit. It's like a 2-minute video, just a bunch of jump cuts talking about all this wild shit I did, satiring, you know, being a satire on the people you would hear after the weekend be like, oh, I got so blacked out on Four Loko, I did all this wild shit. And usually it wasn't that wild, it was just them blacking out. That's how it started, yeah.
Everybody misses Four Loko, dude. Everybody misses that shit.
They
That shit
pulled it off the market because
that shit was fucking crazy, dude.
illegal substance, right?
It was the combination of caffeine and alcohol, I think, is what they made it, they outlawed.
Well, what about Red Bull vodka? I'm like, that's something you make.
Yeah.
You can't sell a Red Bull vodka. You can't combine it, yeah.
Four Loko had some other shit in it though, because I've never gotten so fucked up on something in my life.
That's what they say, man.
Four Loko was weird, dude. Like I had it once, I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I never tried it, so when I found out that they discontinued it, I was like, dang it.
Was there like a banned substance, like a Fedra or some shit in it too? Or
I don't know what it was, but it just got people fucked up. And
from just one can, like that's all you need?
I don't know. I had a lot of other
Some
stuff
people,
too.
yeah, one can is pretty much all you
it's
need.
pretty intense. And the can's is fucking huge too, by the way.
It's a tall boy.
Yeah.
I drank one recently. It's sort of
Is it the same?
It's still disgusting. But it doesn't have the energy in it, so. But it's sort of just like a
not
funny
the same.
thing.
Some people, when they found out it was getting off the market, they just bought fucking boatloads of it.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I think like some people still have them for like special occasions and shit.
Yeah.
But you can't buy them anymore.
Oh yeah, for my fucking wedding, I'm gonna bust it.
There's like the Lost Ark type of shit. Just
Babe, yeah. Vintage.
It got banned in 2010.
Yeah, it got banned the weekend my video came out.
oh shit.
That was why it was like it did really, really well.
Yeah, there was a pre-workout.
Age
too
it
that
like
got banned.
wine.
What was it? What was it called again?
Pre-workout?
Oh, Jack 3D.
Dude, I used to love that shit,
Yeah,
dude.
that was
That was a strong one.
I used to take that twice a day.
Yeah, fucking Jack, that shit was amazing, dude.
Yeah, I never tried it, but everyone that I heard was like, this is the
That was like the biggest. Everybody only used Jack when I went to college at the time because legit, you could like lift weights, play like 4 full court basketball games, and then go study after.
I used to do it for everything. I would wake up in the morning, take some. Later that day, I would work out, but then obviously
I was like, where did the working out come in?
I just skip that part and go right to the next pre-workout. I would take it in the afternoon and work out again. But then I was going to spring break and I would take it in the morning, work out before going to the pool, party at the pool, go home. Did I nap? I don't think so.
It's a blur after
I don't
that.
think so, but like I was like, it was bad. That was a.
It had like meth or some shit in it. I forgot what it was.
It is meth.
Yeah.
It's not in it. It just is
It was
meth.
like meth or some
Blue
shit.
raspberry meth.
Yeah, but it was crazy. So I gave it to Joseph Vincent because I had one pre-workout of that shit left when I first came to LA, and it was already banned by then. But I found it in one of my boxes when I was moving from when I went from Riverside and moved back to Sacramento. I still had one fucking pre-workout thing left, and so I was like, oh shit, they banned this shit. So I was using it again, and I gave it to this YouTuber named Joseph Vincent to play basketball, and he's never taken pre-workout before, and I gave him Jack. Yeah. This dude did we played like 4 or 5 like full court games at 24. That fool went to the hospital the next day because he had such bad shin splints. he couldn't walk because he felt invincible. I mean, he was like, "Yo, let's keep going, because I gave him a full scoop.
Full court, like the entire court, like not just 2 baskets. Like all the hoops.
We just went back. He was like, "Dude, I felt great." And the next day he went to the hospital because he couldn't walk because his shins hurt so much.
That'll do it, man.
That shit was great though.
Pre-workout's crazy.
I remember one of the first times you took it,
Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me.
and he started going ham on squats, and like he hadn't
It was my
worked
first
out.
time doing squats.
Yeah, and yeah.
Shit, that's the worst.
And then he was like, 1 plate, and he's like, fuck yeah, 2 plates, and then you were just like, do you want to just chill out? He's like, no, I feel good.
I know. Punch me in the face.
Dude, I couldn't even get in my car the next day. I was
Because you were
walking.
so jacked.
Man,
Yeah, man.
So fucking swollen.
everybody at work was laughing at me, man. I couldn't move. Oh, that was crazy.
Funny. Which pre-workout did you take?
Animal pump?
Yeah, it was like Animal Pump or something like
Need to get you
that.
some NAR pump. That's my pre-workout.
Ooh.
Your own label?
Yeah.
NAR pump?
tight.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, after that, I got scared of pre-workout because I felt invincible, dude. I was like, man, I'm gonna rob every single bank in California.
I don't think that's the pre-workout, bro.
Drug, man. It's mad. It's like BCP.
I'm gonna rape and pillage all these villages.
It's the mental thing is even
And you
more than.
feel so like nothing can hurt you.
Yeah.
And you just feel so energetic and on top of the
the
world.
fuck? That does sound like meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
And you know what's funny? I've done meth and it didn't.
it was kind of weak to be
It's
honest.
a little weak, dude.
That was weak compared to
He
this.
said to be
Like
honest.
fucking pre-workout, there's meth. You look at the meth, you go,
Yeah. Give me the pre-workout.
Fuck,
That's
and
that
that's just
street
illegal?
shit, man. You don't want the meth. You want the real fine shit.
because you would start off, just warming up and you feel okay, but after you would get into like your whatever second or third workout, it just boom kicks, and I just remember it just going forever, and it would just wouldn't stop. And the crash was pretty hard, but it was.
Why you gotta take it again later in the day?
Oh, it's going down a little bit. Just scoop it a little bit more, and you were good. Because I would just take half a scoop, and I would take another half a scoop later, because it was so fucking strong for me.
Pre-workouts never hit me that hard. And I've tried so many.
Really?
Yeah, it's never hit me that hard. And the only time I could do it is like in competition.
Yeah.
Cause then I'm like, there's adrenaline pumping, and then I'm like, well, I guess.
I'll get you some.
That's what everyone
Try
says.
NAR real quick.
Everyone says.
That's
but this
crazy
one-
that because you don't even take that much caffeine, so I would think your caffeine tolerance is low.
Yeah, it never hits me. So only in competition, only for deadlifts I would take because I'm like, well, I guess I need it at this point. But other than that, but I never feel it.
You see all those fucking UFC fighters, the way they take pre-workout, they just fucking take 2 scoops and they just eat that shit.
Yeah, that's the way to do it
Sometimes
now.
you gotta do it.
Why don't they just do it with
It's like
water?
fun dip, man. Without the
You do
dipper.
it.
Without the dip, just fuck it.
Just right. Yeah, extra fun.
I
do
know
it
this
that
guy
way.
used to train with TJ Dillashaw, and he says to keep up with him, he had to take pre-workout 6 times a day.
Whoa. He's trying to get a heart attack?
Jesus
Because
Christ.
they have to train so much. Like they have like a boxing session, then a wrestling session, then a BJJ session, then a Muay Thai session, like a strength conditioning session, and he just has to constantly just take.
This
just
might
to
be a
keep up
dumb
with them.
question, but is that bad because you are exerting that much amount of energy?
I don't know. I guess you have to do. So you do all that, and you got to figure out your way how to recover from all that too.
How do you sleep?
You gotta take steroids.
Well, but you're exhausted because you've
Also, your heart is probably
It's all fucking
quite
fat.
enlarged. Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't know.
Well, you probably work your way up to that being your norm, so your work capacity just builds. But that just seems not human.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've never felt the positive effects of BCAAs though. Like after I was
I don't know if
like,
anyone
sore, take BCAAs. I've never felt
Who has?
The recovery shit.
the recovery shit.
What is it?
It's
Recovery?
just something to taste good.
It's like
while you're
fairy
working out.
dust.
I feel it like my back.
Aminos, right?
Because you take a pre-workout, you know the immediate effect, right? And then like, dude, you're sore. Take these BCAAs. I'm like, I'm still fucking sore, you assholes. Like,
What's the point of it?
Well, isn't it
people
for
think
faster
it's-
recovery?
Yeah, some people think it
it's
helps
like
in
branched
that.
chain amino acids. that's
Yeah,
what it stands
amino
No one
acids.
really knows.
It's like fish
How
oil.
you
So.
test
But it's literally like vitamins, right?
Right.
Like, how do you know that the vitamins are making you?
You kind of just hope.
There's like 1 or 2 clinical studies that show if you train your ass off and you take BCAAs that it prevents your muscles from breaking down during the training, but that's just only one handful of studies. But are there really tests?
It tastes good.
I mean, there's.
There you go. That's one for
Same with
BCA.
vitamins, right?
It helps people drink more water.
Yeah.
Like you'll see people with like an entire glowing pink thing of a gallon of water during
Oh, I've
training.
seen pink things.
Yeah. It tastes better than
You don't say.
I seen pink thing.
You know what I
It
meant.
helps people drink water. I think that's why people like it.
I've only ever had a quarter of pre-workout, and that one tiny little thing that I got, my heart was like,
Just smell the dust when the canister open.
I know,
Yeah.
just smelling
It
it.
has like a warning label too. Like if you don't take pre-workout, like, you have to have a certain amount.
That's why they just gave me a tiny little thing of it, and I still was like, oh my
Who's
god.
they?
Luke,
Doctors.
Oh.
Luke gave me
This should be. I don't know.
Me as a doctor, like, yeah, take a quarter scoop of pre-workout and
Like who told you? Lou, the doctor, Dr. Lou.
Dr. Luke.
Do you work out like often too? Is that still a huge part of your life, even though you're playing your character?
yeah. I mean, I was into the gym before the whole bro science thing. I was actually a personal trainer for about 2 weeks, but when I was before YouTube, didn't like that.
Wow. You're like, nah, I'm
Like
okay.
that,
Why
yeah.
didn't you like it?
Just wasn't for me. I realized the only thing I like about working out is when I work out. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm like, I don't want to write a workout plan for
Do you like
you.
working out with people, or do you like working out by yourself?
Usually with people, but recently just by myself. I think there's always a sort of something you do every day for so long, right? You just kind of go through phases of whatever does it for you at the time. You're like, I just sometimes don't want to be bogged down by having a schedule with other people or whatever.
I feel like being a personal trainer is like,
A babysitter?
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And a therapist.
Did you do this? Oh, and a therapist. Did you do that?
Because it's like half of the session you're talking about why your boyfriend or girlfriend is mad at you.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever personal trained, but I know enough, you know.
Accurate.
I feel like you as a trainer, you get so mentally drained. You're like taking everybody's fucking baggage.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So it has to be a very specific type of human being to want to be a personal trainer.
And it wasn't me.
And it was not me. Because I've seen personal trainers at gyms, you could tell like they probably don't have the best clientele and they're not making a lot of money because they don't care.
Well, the thing is, it's such a wide range of what people know in fitness and what, like, some studies prove to be true and some studies prove the exact opposite. People believe this and people believe that. And maybe you're just sort of like someone who took the test and became a trainer and just writes shitty workout plans. Maybe you're someone that actually knows, and there's just such a variance and there's no real consistency there. So, like, to find a good personal trainer, you're kind of committing, like, I got to commit a couple weeks to see progress or the lack of, to at least know. And then you're like, well, I just lost a bunch of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a confusing thing sometimes.
Fitness is so weird. Just there's so much information out there. It's hard to filter through everything, right? Because there's how many X amount of diets have come out recently. The carnivore diet, this, the paleo, this, and that. And every single one of them are arguing with each other about who's better.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like, well, what the fuck? And they have like their set of data and their scientists that say this, and there's their data that says this. And I'm like, well, I don't know who's fucking right at this point then.
So I just make fun of it, man.
No, that's the best thing. Then you have Dom Mazzetti.
I just step back and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be in as good a shape as I can be while still, partying on the weekends and not being too bogged down by all the science that I had to learn when I was a personal trainer for 2 weeks. I was like, this isn't what I like about fitness. So yeah, I got out of that.
That's the best, though. You get best of both worlds, where you get to practice your passion, but then you don't have to be too in it, you know? Like, I think in hobbies, like, people take it way too fucking serious, man.
But at the same time, I also get the worst of both worlds because in the eyes of a lot of my fans, not only do I have to be funny, but I also have to be jacked and in shape all the time.
Oh shit.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so it's like I got to do, you know, the fitness influencer thing, but also a comedian thing. I'm like, I'm not a fitness influencer, but I gotta keep up. And
Should have
like,
started with
character you
comedy
have to.
first, man.
I did.
Because when I started with comedy first, and I got a little bit into fitness, it's like that dumb kid in class that finally started to read. You get a gold star. Everyone's like, fuck yeah. So I do a little bit. I set the bar solo. I do a little bit, and everyone's proud of me.
But that's what I did. It just the mistake I made was coming into, you know, bringing comedy into fitness as I am the biggest guy in the world. That's the attitude. Like, I know everything, and of course it's satire, but at the end of the day, there are still people who just look up to Dom as their fitness idol.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's.
I mean, you really do have to look the part too, because I had this character called Kim Jong-il. He's like a North Korean dictator.
Yeah.
And I lost like 60 pounds. It doesn't work.
yeah,
Like it doesn't work.
You gotta look like him.
We shot it. I shot a pilot for it, and this was like in between where I lost like 30 pounds, and even then it wasn't as funny. And I was like, oh, because I just don't look like him that much anymore. So like the character, it just really does play into it.
Sometimes being fat adds 50 fat funny points.
I know, 50 fat funny points,
Yeah.
dude.